afternoon, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready for our second dirt track venue of the season for the NNSCRA Almond Joy Series. Now, I know you're thinking, well, we've been to 3 dirt tracks this season. No, the Hershey's Cup Series has been to 3 dirt tracks. Bristol Dirt, Eldora, and now they're going to be coming here to Springfield Mile. This is only the second time that the Almond Joy Series is coming to a dirt track, so should be interesting as we had a actually really good race at Bristol Dirt with these drivers, so hoping for the same thing here today at Springfield Mile. Kind of ironic, too, because the driver that went to victory lane at Bristol Dirt is starting on the outside of the front row for this race. So Benny Watson, apparently dirt tracks seem to be one of his specialties, and gets himself an opportunity to maybe go 2 for 2 in dirt track starts here in the Almond Joy Series. This is race number 14, which means only 6 more regular season stops for these drivers to try and put themselves into position to be in the chase for the championship. And our most recent driver that could potentially be in the chase is John Andrews after his win at Arizona. He's actually moved up to 16th in the point stands with that win as well, which puts him well above the 30th position in the points, which is the cut line. Also, a couple of other drivers have actually been moving up that were kind of in the danger zone, had a win this season, but were lurking down around 30th in points, one of them being Joseph Romero. He's actually now up to 22nd in the point stands after heading into last week's race at Arizona, 29th in points. And Chris Dollerton was outside the top 30 in the point standings last week. After that race, he moved his way up into that critical 30th position in the point standings. So right now, as things stand, the only driver that has a win this season that needs to get himself inside the top 30 in points to have his win count towards a chase spot is Zachariah Hall. And he comes into this race 33rd in the point stands. As we get these cars rolling off here. And for the second straight week, it is Elijah Gordon on the pole position. He had the pole last week at Arizona. Didn't exactly work out in his favor after a bit of a skirmish between himself and Brooke Allen. And from what I understand, they were called to the NNSCRA hauler. They were talked to. I don't know if anything's been settled, but Gordon now with another pole position, going to maybe try and capitalize here today at Springfield Mile. As always, you can look down in the description. You'll see your starting lineup for today's race. And this will give us a little bit of an idea of maybe what to expect in the Hershey's Cup Series race here tomorrow. It'll be 20 laps of racing here today for the Almond Joy Series. And it should be pretty interesting as Eric Heiden still remains the points leader over Amaury Studemeyer Jr. Paul Minnick's now up to 3rd in points after a good run last week. J Kurtis 4th. James Qualls is now up to 5th. Then Benny Watson, Nick Guenther, K Jazzin, Nick Johnson, and Davey Johnson. That is your top 10 in the points. Out of all those drivers in the top 10 in points, only 4 of them are former winners so far this season. Kurtis, Qualls, Watson, and Nick Johnson. Here we go, though. Race 14 at Springfield Mile is underway. We're dirt track racing. Now Jesse Turner to the inside already into turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, going to try and drive it deep into 3. Elijah Gordon going to try and get the run off of turn 4, but Turner gets the nice run through the center of the corner, slides up, and will lead lap number 1 here at Springfield Mile. Gordon now back into 2nd, and we are under caution. Caution flag is out. That did not take long at all. I don't know if we're racing back or not. No, we are not. I didn't know if they had crossed the line before the yellow flag came out or if they had the yellow come out prior to the leader hitting the start-finish line. Apparently, the latter is the case. And so therefore we are under our first caution, and it happened right on lap number 1. And it may have involved Chris Dollerton, who had a great run last week, worked his way up through the standings. Got a couple drivers down here on the bottom of the racetrack. That's Davey Johnson, 10th in points. I saw another car up ahead. That's Zachariah Hall, also Joseph Romero down there on the inside line. See some left side damage on 2-time winner Matthew Daleo. And it looks like Hall is coming to pit road. Romero, Davey Johnson, they're all coming to the pit lane. So might have been those 3 that brought out that caution. Whatever the case, though, we're going to be taking a look at a replay. Jesse Turner gets the lead away from Elijah Gordon on lap 1 and leads us under the first caution of the day here at Springfield Mile. Well, the dust kicked up there. Lingering is going to be a visibility problem, but it all starts with the 98 of Mike Becker. Now, let's see what exactly happens here. They may end up trying 4 wide. You got last week's winner, John Andrews, 2-time winner, Matthew Daleo. They get a nice run the inside. Connor Breton's on the outside. And Becker, let's see where the contact comes from. Right there. Yep, Daleo gets into Becker's left rear, turns him in front of the field. Meanwhile, Daleo goes down and gets John Andrews. The points leader, Eric Heiden's right behind all this. The NOS Energy Toyota. I think he may get a piece of it right there. The roof flaps deploy on John Andrews' Toyota. And as everybody's trying to get through, a little bit of damage there, it looks like, for William Brock. Zachariah Hall looks like he might get through. There's Romero getting a piece of it. Davey Johnson turned around there into the inside retaining wall. Cody Hagan just barely getting through. There are a couple other drivers that may have gotten some slight damage out of that, but I'm not exactly sure. Everybody kind of stacked up here. Oh, there's where Heiden gets another piece of it right there. Gets, again, into Mike Becker. I am a little curious. Oh, Maurice Studemeyer Jr. got a little bit of damage there. Got into Davey Johnson. I am a little confused why the 4 car had to come to pit road. I mean, how much damage did Hall receive? Let's go to the helicopter cam. See if we can find out here, because the 3 cars that came to pit road are kind of in this screenshot. The 4, the 87, and the 05, and Hall. Boy, you know, I don't know if he made slight contact with the right front into the rear of Becker or not, but certainly didn't look like it. Don't know if that's the case or not. But anyway, that's what put us under the caution. Not really a whole lot of hard hits, so I would assume everybody's going to be able to continue. And we'll go back now to Green Flag Racing here at Springfield. Lights are out top. The pace car will go back Green Flag Racing. And as things stand, we have Zachariah Hall, Joseph Romero, and Davey Johnson all listed off the lead lap. I don't know if they necessarily are still running or not. I think they all are. I don't think anyone actually retired from the race. Well, maybe they did. Wow, that's actually quite shocking, because there wasn't really a whole lot of damage sustained by any of those drivers. And yeah, they are all out of the race. Zachariah Hall, Joseph Romero, and Davey Johnson. So this hurts Davey Johnson, or make that, Davey Johnson in the fact that he came in top 10 in the points. Hurts Romero in the fact he jumped up to 22nd after last week's race in Arizona. Has to keep himself in the top 30 in points. And also hurts Zachariah Hall, who's just trying to get himself into the top 30 in points after his win at Las Vegas earlier on this season. So 3 drivers looking for good runs here at Springfield. Looks like their days come to an early end, and we'll go back green with 15 laps to go. Jesse Turner out in front. Elijah Gordon, Richard Johnson, Colin Denton, and Benny Watson. That is your top 5. As the green flag comes back out here on lap number 6. Single file restart, so it may take him a little bit of time to start battling for position. Looks like the first car stepping out of line is Benny Watson. That's a battle for the 4th spot. K Jazzin going to drive it down really deep, maybe try and make it 3 wide, can't make the move. Caution flag is out again, a second time that we've had the caution flag come out immediately after going back green. And Jesse Turner got to be loving the fact that allows him to just pace under caution, not have the pressure on his back bumper like he just had there with Elijah Gordon and Richard Johnson, and continue to lead laps under caution. Looks like this caution flag potentially coming out for possibly Mitchell Carter in the 52. Things have not gone well for Mitchell Carter in the last couple of weeks. Carter now down to 18th in points after being up inside the top 10 in points for a good portion of the first half of this season. So as Jesse Turner leads us under our second caution, let's take a look and see what happened. Well, it starts with Cody Hagan. Hagan's going to drive it really wide into this corner. And Mike Becker's going to drive it underneath him. Gets into the 16, and then look at Carter just drive it really deep. Slides up and collects Hagan and Becker as well as himself. And all 3 cars up and into the wall. Now, they all hit the wall pretty hard, and more than likely it wouldn't have brought out a caution flag except for the fact that the 52 right there loops it around in the turn 1 vicinity. Cody Hagan and Mike Becker do a good job of keeping their cars straight, so more than likely if Carter's car hadn't turned around, we wouldn't be under yellow, but NSCRA doing the smart and safe thing and throwing the yellow flag. That was an incident pretty close to the rear of the field as well. So a 3-car incident, takes place in turn number 1. That puts us under caution again. Don't know, but we may not have seen our last caution. And I'll tell you one driver that would love to continue to see the caution flags would probably be the leader, Jesse Turner. 1 lap led under caution is 1 less lap led under green, having to fight somebody that's trying to take the lead away from you. So I don't rightly understand it, but 3 cars that got minimal damage in the first wreck retire out of the race. 3 cars that go up, slam the outside retaining wall, sustain a whole lot more damage than drivers did in the first incident, are able to continue. Hagen, Becker, and Mitchell Carter are all still on the racetrack, still running, still on the lead lap. So still only 3 drivers back behind the wall. Jesse Turner continues to show the way. Jesse Turner coming into this race is 32nd in the point stand, so a win would definitely help in 2 respects. One, obviously a trip to victory lane could help Jesse Turner to be able to try and get a chase spot, but also a win would more than likely move Jesse Turner up into the top 30 in points. So kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone with a trip to victory lane today might be the goal of Jesse Turner. But Elijah Gordon right there in second, Richard Johnson, Benny Watson, Colin Denton, that's your top 5. Hopefully we can actually have a bit of a green flag run here to the end as we've reached the halfway point and it's 10 laps to go. Green flag back out here at Springfield, and maybe, just maybe, we can end this thing under green. Elijah Gordon tried stepping out of line to kind of jump to the high side of Jesse Turner, and he's going to pay the price. Richard Johnson goes by for second. Watson there for third. Look at K Jazzin driving it deep in the inside line. That's 3 wide for third place. Watson, Gordon, and Jazzin. And Jazzin's going to try and take second place now. Look at Seth Cole following in the tire tracks. And we did complete a lap under green. Whoa, Benny Watson nearly making contact with Elijah Gordon as the battle is on for second between K Jazzin and Richard Johnson. Seth Cole also there on that inside line, forging up to the front. We got Jonathan Rains back here. Colin Denton, Jeremy Jones, they're battling for position. I believe the caution may be out again. As the battle is on for the lead, drag race to the line between Jazzin and Turner. Give the spot to Turner, and we are indeed under caution. Whoa, look out. Slow car on the inside of turns 1 and 2. That's the Mike Becker machine again. Bad day just continues to get worse for that team. And Turner nearly had the lead swiped away under this caution from K Jazzin, but Jazzin wasn't quite able to get the run out of turn 4. And Becker is on pit road. Becker's been involved in all 3 of our cautions so far today at Springfield. That Florida, I don't know, it's Florida Natural or something like that, sponsored Ford. Definitely taking the brunt of a lot of hits today. Let's take a look and see what happened. We're going to have ourselves, I believe, about a 4-lap, maybe even 3-lap shootout to finish out this race, as we've been under the caution 3 times so far today in this short race at Springfield. Well, it wasn't a wreck. NNSCRA having to throw out a precautionary caution for the 98 of Becker. You can see a lot of damage on that car, and you can see some sparks coming out of the tailpipes there. I don't know if something broke in that car or what, but all of a sudden coming down here on the front straightaway, apparently Becker feeling something terribly wrong. He pulls the car down to the inside of the racetrack, and he's actually going to come to a stop on the inside line in the middle of 1 and 2. I don't know if he was trying to get to pit road or something, but he couldn't make it all the way back around, and obviously with a lot of drivers trying to utilize that extreme inside line to pick up positions, they had to throw the caution to avoid Becker getting nailed by somebody. So, good call there by NNSCRA, but obviously a tough break because we more than likely would have been able to finish this race under green, and now we're going to have a bit of a shootout to finish out this race. And there you can see right there, yeah, as the 98 slows its pace, the pace car comes off of pit road, realizing that Becker's not going to be able to get that Ford Mustang back around to his pit stall. So that's to put us under the caution for the 3rd time. Let's see how many laps we're going to have left to finish out today's race at Springfield Mile. Well, Mike Becker has taken his car back behind the wall, so 4 retirees out of this race. And we are going to have a total of 4 laps to go when we go back green. More than likely, the next flag will end the race, whether it be the caution flag or the white flag. Jesse Turner's done a great job out in front. Had a couple of challenges from Elijah Gordon. K Jazzin has turned them all back, but can Turner hang on for this last 4 laps? Jazzin there in second, Richard Johnson third, Seth Cole, Benny Watson, that's your top 5. Green flag back out. Here comes K Jazzin, look to the inside. That 7 car has been wound up on that inside line since the start of this race. And Jazzin may take a peek here into turn 3. Turner's got to block the line, but here comes Jazzin way down to the bottom. Turner slides up through the corner. Jazzin draws even. May have the position coming out of the corner, but maybe Turner can battle back on the high side. At the line by about maybe a couple feet, it was Jazzin, and now Jazzin drives it hard to the corner. Richard Johnson bumps Turner out of the way, moves into second. Turner now drops way back, all the way to 5th place as the battle's on between Seth Cole and Benny Watson. That was for 3rd. Now Watson falls back into the battle for 4th with Turner. Here comes Watson again, though, up the inside line on Seth Cole as K Jazzin shows the way. It's going to be 2 laps to go. Jazzin out in front, Richard Johnson second. Benny Watson now battling for 3rd with Seth Cole. He looks like he may take that position here off of turn 2. Here comes Jonathan Rains into the picture as well in the 46. Richard Johnson trying to close the gap up between himself and K Jazzin, who goes a little wide through that corner, takes the higher line out of 4, and the white flag is displayed for the Branch Chevrolet. Can Jazzin pick up his first win of the season? Richard Johnson trying to reel him in. He closes the distance there in the middle of 1 and 2. Might be able to make a dive bomb move here into 3 and 4. Jonathan Rains moves into the 3rd position, not close enough to get to Richard Johnson. Is Johnson close enough to get to Jazzin? Through turns 3 and 4, Jazzin right up against the wall. Richard Johnson tries to drive it deep off of 4, but cannot get there. And K Jazzin is going to pick up first win of the season here today at Springfield Mile. K Jazzin came into today's race 8th in the point standings. The team has been very consistent this season, just hasn't been able to capitalize with a trip to victory lane. Well, check that off the list. They've got a trip to victory lane. They may have themselves a spot in this season's Almond Joy chase for the championship. What a job there by K Jazzin, the only car that was really able to get to Jesse Turner and complete the pass. Almost made the move before that 3rd caution came out, but then made the move here on this last green flag run to the checkers. Richard Johnson was close, but he just couldn't seem to be able to find a line other than what Jazzin was running to be able to get a run off of a corner. He'll have to settle for 2nd. Jonathan Rains, a late bloomer there at the end. He's going to get 3rd. Seth Cole in 4th, and Benny Watson started 2nd, finishes 5th. I think he likes going to dirt tracks. Does that 89 car. Look at there who finished 6th and 7th. Elijah Gordon and Brooke Allen. Very interesting. Finishing one behind the other there. As they'll get top 10s. Jesse Turner led a good majority of this race. Led pretty much about maybe 75% of this race, but will have to settle for 8th. 9th place for Jeremy Jones. And how about Paul Minnick? 3rd in the point standings. Peaks up there and nabs a top 10 in the 10th position. Joshua, or make that, wow. Let's try that again. How about Julio Cesar comes away with 11th. Colin Denton finishes in 12th. 13th for J Jefferson. James Qualls going to get 14th. 15th for Kev Shearer. And then Amaury Stoudemire Jr. gets 16th. Grayson Acevedo 17th. 18th for Jordan Lopez. DJ Kurtis 19th. And Tyler Markle completes the top 20. Trying to see where our points leader coming into this race finished. He finished in 26th. Did Eric Heiden. As it was Caitlin Tsang 21st, 22nd, Jeffrey Finguy, 23rd, N Guenther, 24th, Cody Smart, 25th, our winner last week, John Andrews, 26th, as mentioned, Eric Heiden, 27th, Jonathan Zoerlein, Nick Johnson gets 28th, 29th, William Brock, Connor Breton, and 30th, 31st was Chris Dollerton, so I don't know, with the good runs that were had by Rains and Turner, who came in 30th, or 31st and 32nd in points, Chris Dollerton may be back outside the top 30 in the standings after this race. Ryan George gets 32nd, 33rd for Angel Navarro. 35th place is going to be Mitchell Carter. Cody Hagan finishes in 36th, was the last car to finish the race and on the lead lap. 4 drivers out of the race. They were Mike Becker, Zachariah Hall, Joseph Romero, and Davey Johnson. So that's going to do it here from Springfield Mile. I may be incorrect, but I believe the next track that these drivers are going to might be Rockingham, North Carolina. I might be incorrect in that, but I will probably let you guys know where they're going after the Hershey's Cup Series race that'll be coming up here at Springfield Mile tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see more green flag racing in that one than we did here today in the Almond Joy Series race, but thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this race, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've given you full finishing results, and now we will show you your point standings heading into race number 15 as the chase towards the chase for the Almond Joy Series Championship continues on here on the Hershey Sports Channel, offline racing at its best.